On this episode, this talent stops by. Hey everybody, this is GaryVee, Nerdchuck, and this is episode 246 of the Ask GaryVee Show. We are in studio with one of our entire crew's favorite artists, one of the favorite artists of the entire generation that's living in the music world right now, Logic.
Swag. What's up, dog?
I'm so happy to be here, man. Thank you for the hospitality. We're gonna answer some questions.
Keep the energy.
Energy's legit.
This is tight.
Okay, good.
Life is great.
Life is great.
Life is great.
Do you know how rare it is to be a human being?
Yeah, it's
400 trillion to 1.
V rare.
You're more likely to do the NCAA tournament perfectly on your bracket 11 times in your life than being born.
That's great. Well, I'm glad I'm here then.
Logic, for the 13 people that don't know, because you've absolutely exploded. It's been fun to watch from afar. I've gotten to know your team really well over the last month or so. It's just really impressive rise, not only on the talent side of what you do musically, but how you guys have been so thoughtful, how you actually give a crap about your audience, who you are as a dude, and the team that you surround yourself with. Why don't you give the Vayner Nation, as I like to call them, my homies, a little bit about your 4-1. Who are you?
Yeah, my name is Logic, born Sir Robert Bryson Hall II in 1990. I'm biracial to a black father and a white mother, and I grew up in Gaithersburg, Maryland. I'm very proud of where I'm from, and it was crazy, man. My household, I was the only child between my mother and father, but my household was predominantly black. All my brothers and sisters were black, 7 brothers and sisters, It's crazy, brothers selling crack and me having to rise out of that. My father, abusing drugs, my mother abusing drugs and alcohol, and making my way out of that. And, when I was 17 years old, I left the house. I got 2 jobs that I worked in the morning and then the evening, and I would come home every single night and just record and record and record because I told myself I was gonna do it. And long story short, we're in my house, if you can believe it, and I can't believe it's happened, so dab. Yeah.
Honestly, we need to, before we get into the questions, we have to take a step back. In such a tough environment, was there anybody in your life, whether a teacher, a grandparent, a random neighbor, or was it very internal that made you look at your surroundings and just speak to yourself in your own dome and say, I'm gonna get out of this and this is how I'm gonna do it? And in parallel, because I'm getting excited now because I love these stories, when did you realize you had the talent to potentially be able to pull off this ridiculousness?
No, I don't think it was the talent. First and foremost, I think it was the mentality of looking at music and life in general as a business. So where a lot of people look at chains and money, legitimately as oh my God, I want that. I saw past all that and I saw the greats, you know what I mean, setting up companies and investing and all that, and I said to myself, I want that. I want to be able to support a family. I never really had a family, so that's something that I wanted. And I think when it comes to talent and stuff, yeah, I don't know, it was just fun. It was something fun, and I said, what do I love? And what do I love the most that I can hopefully do for the rest of my life as a career? And then I looked at it from a business standpoint, not just an artistic standpoint. As a kid, at 17.
9?
No, I was 17.
Okay.
It was when I realized, oh my God.
But didn't you rap outside or battle rap or play all, right?
Yeah, but I was such an introvert though at the same time because everybody else was out drinking and smoking and this and all, and I just wasn't really about that. And hip hop has always been kind of known
for those things.
Yeah, but there's also at times just going out into the world is a violent place. So that's another thing that it was just, I just always kept to myself, even now, you know what I mean? When I go out and people recognize me, I be in my zone, and I go places and I make sure I'm secure and everything's good, but I'll go somewhere and somebody will start crying behind a cash register as I'm ordering a McDouble, and I'm like, oh, that's right.
This is my life now.
I forgot, yeah, and it's so cool, and I'm like, don't cry.
You love taking selfies?
Yeah, no, totally. I love anything that has to do with fans and interaction because they're who made me. We were talking about it earlier. Last year, before my album was out, my most important album I ever did, The Incredible True Story at the time, I literally paid for a tour bus, okay, and spent over, 6 figures to start in Los Angeles, California, and end in New York, traveling across the United States, going to their fans' houses, surprising them, playing my album before it came out, sharing meals with them, spending time with them, and it was incredible. And that really let me know, like, wow, this is why I make music. All the other, or the write-ups, or the this, or the that, or the accolades, that's great, but
it's a byproduct.
It's like, can you believe that? I can't even believe that I can affect someone where they're like, yo, you saved my life.
When's the first time you tasted success? What was the first, like, did you put out a song on the internet?
Weird. Well, all right, I'm gonna be honest.
Please.
The first time
that would be great.
The first time I really looked in. It wasn't even looked in the mirror. I looked around, is when I got a check for $1 million.
You lost your mind, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't lose my mind. I was like, I had already had a few $1 million in my account, but when I looked at
one check.
That was for $1 million. I was like, this is really crazy.
But before that insanity, because that's insanity.
Yeah.
And 99.9% of people will never feel that.
Everything else was failing. Like, everything to me was like, okay,
interesting.
Such and such amount of money for a show was like, okay, yeah, but there's always going to be more. Or I never put myself out where I'm like, how poppin' is Logic? How good am I? How this? How that? I never really thought about it. I always put it away. Even now, even like sitting here and talking to you, man, like, as an entrepreneur, you're so successful. But even this, I was still like, let me not even read too much into it. I'm just going to sit down with this dude. Like, I don't like to hype. So I know what you're saying.
Yes.
So I could be like, oh, when I signed to Def Jam, and when I got that check, that check. But it's like,
what about the first time somebody rolled up on you and brought a verse that you put out into the world to you?
In what sense?
Like, did you ever, as you put out early music, early, not like recently, early, like somebody just rolling up at you at McDonald's, before people cried at McDonald's, did somebody roll up on you and regurgitate one of your hooks or a lyric? Because I think that's when it gets interesting, right?
I was back in College Park in Maryland, and this was like before, I think, the Young Sinatra mixtape came out, and the Young Sinatra's mixtape was like the one that really started the fountain.
Yeah.
And somebody was driving down the street.
And you heard him playing it?
I heard him playing one of my songs. And I'm like shooting a music video. I was in the middle of shooting a music video. That to me was wild. It was 2010. I couldn't believe that.
That's what I mean, right? Like those back in those days, that's where it gets interesting.
Yeah, but that's because like every little thing was so amazing. Because I mean, when it really started, like when I was like, yo, I'm gonna really, really do this. I was 19 and I was homeless and I didn't have a place to stay and it was Christmas time. And my homie Lenny, who you met upstairs, Big Lembo, who's an amazing rapper, let me live with him and sleep on his couch for a year. And he was like, yo, like you have a year, blah, blah, blah. I was supposed to get a job, but things were going so well. Every week it seemed like there was something new and something amazing. And he was a land surveyor for 12 years. So he would like survey areas before, things would get built in houses and buildings or whatever. And almost a year to the day, he took care of me, he fed me, he clothed me, he let me sleep on his couch. And almost a year to the day, I signed with Def Jam, told him to quit his job at 12 years, and we moved to LA.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Listen,
crazy.
For everybody in my audience, I'm really excited to be here, and you'll understand why, because the path of the talent and finding out what you love and then building around it, you guys know my spiel, crush it, that's a long time ago. It's the execution of the way...
Flexfusion.
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
The execution of the way that these guys put out, and when I say these guys, Logic and his team, think about putting out music, how they engage with fans. It's the modern attention graph story. I haven't come across a lot of people that I think have totally grasped it in the way that you and your team have, and you've got a great team.
Yeah.
And it's fun for me because I know how this ends up, and to be very frank, I'm gonna put it on the record because it's fun for me. I know this ends up with you being one of the biggest talents in your game.
I hope so.
And so it's fun for me to look at this video in 4 years.
Nice.
And tell my kids I told you.
That's pretty gangster.
That's pretty much what I'm doing here.
That's dope.
I'm selfish.
No, but that's real. 'Cause I always believe in speaking things into existence. In 2010, I did some random interview, and I didn't have a fan in the world, and I was like, I'm gonna be a XXL
hiphopatLunch.com or
yeah, something like that. In 2013, I said in 2013 I'm gonna be a XXL freshman, and I was. It's like, so just saying these things and to cover that magazine was incredible, or to say I'm gonna release an album and I'm gonna do such and such in my first week.
Is there any artists you want to collab with? I was curious about that.
Shit is
I know you haven't. That's why I'm asking.
Like rap is cool, but I don't know. I'm just like, rap is dope, but I like
You want to do something like Blake Shelton or something?
I just like indie rock, you know what I mean? And like I like this dude named Destroyer, and I like love Adele. I just love I don't know, it's just like rap is so cool and it's fun, and it's just what I happen to be good at. But if I could, I would like pick up a guitar and like sing to the world. I don't have that talent, so I'm just like giving you what I got.
Listen,
you know,
what you've got is plenty. Boyd, we got phone numbers coming. Everybody on Instagram Live, start putting up your phone numbers. We're gonna call the first person.
Straight up.
You got this? So as they're pulling up the first call, and you can just call it and put it on speaker, and we'll have the first questions.
Is it going too fast?
Yeah, it's going fast, but they're big boys.
Okay.
Those are two big boys right there. They got it. You good, Boyd?
Yeah.
Okay, good. While they're doing their thing, because we don't have the big like speakerphone here right now, tell me, when you talk about all those other songs and genres, how much other music do you listen to daily?
Oh yeah, I listen to different music every day. I don't really listen to rap, especially now. Just like ever since my last album and mixtape, I just like I'm so detached from rap.
Why?
But not to where I don't know what's going on. I love to know what's going on with artists that I really appreciate. You know, I love Cole and Kendrick and Drake but even Classic and Nas and like all types of really dope.
Any time to look at the kids coming up, or you just like?
Of course, but that's like just ear to the streets. You know,
yep.
like you always.
How important is that to you?
I think that's a big thing, because it's like you want to know what's relevant. You want to know what's going on so that you're able to stay
connect and
yourself,
understand.
You know what I mean? And vibe with somebody else. So somebody might be coming up who's like a super dope lyricist or whatever the case may be, and you want to go from there.
What's going on here?
Is it going?
It's about to go, I hope.
Is it going?
Says that it's calling. There we go.
Snap.
Somebody's about to be real happy.
Hey, Ryan speaking.
Ryan, this is GaryVee, and you're in the Ask GaryVee show with Logic.
Hey, Gary, what's up, man?
Life is good, man. What kind of question you got for us?
Well, I just want to know how many hours you are currently working and trying to balance family life.
Are you struggling with your work-life balance?
No, I think I need to work more.
Respect. Okay. Logic, I'm going to throw this at you first, right? You're a happily married man now.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
How long?
It's been a year and a half.
All right, so you're newlywed, right?
Yeah.
How long were you guys together before you got married?
We were together for 2 years.
Got it. So do you struggle with I mean, obviously you've got your workspace here at your home.
Yeah.
Do you think about work-life balance? Do you think about, like, because you're grinding, you're like in this incredible moment in your career, do you worry about finding the right balance? Do you feel good about your balance? Where are you at today?
It's something that it's always never ending. So for me, for example, last year I over 130 shows I performed. I was gone.
You were gone the whole year.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to know, like, you really do need balance. So
was she able to travel with you?
Yeah, she was able to travel, but then she's her own person too.
Yeah,
so
she's got a life.
Each other and things like that. So I think, sure, work as hard as you can, but when it affects the person you love, when it truly, in any type of negative way, that's when you just need to sit down and say, all right, how are we going to do this? And you guys schedule it out together. And you say, these days are ours, or this dinner is ours, or these 3 hours on Sunday is ours, and this is mine, and that's yours, and this is us together, and this is work. So,
Ryan, I think Logic's got it right. It comes down to communication, right? And the truth is, some weeks, some months, some years, it goes perfect, and other times it's a real struggle, right? And so, for me, I've got the greatest support system of all time. My wife Lizzie is absolutely the foundation of my insanity. I also travel. I've got 2 young kids. But you've also got to look at circumstances, right? So much of, I don't know if you caught this part, but so much of what makes Logic is the scenario of the house he grew up in. I grew up in an immigrant household where my dad left before I woke up and went home and got home after I went to sleep. My dad and I slept in the same exact place for the first 17 years of my life. This is true, by the way. I never went to sleepaway camp. Like, we basically, outside of a couple sleepovers that I had, slept in the same home every night, and I barely saw him. And my wife also had a ridiculously successful father, different corporate America success, not immigrant entrepreneur success. So he traveled a lot. So for her and I, it's not foreign that I'm away and traveling 50, 100, 150 days a year. Whereas other people, if you ate dinner with mom and dad every night and your dad was home at 5:30, and then you go marry somebody who's traveling 180 days a week, that's foreign. So you've got to communicate, you've got to understand the context of where everybody comes from. When I hear you say you think you've got to work more, that's a whole different question. That's not about work-life balance. That is, are you doing the thing you want to do? Are you hungry?
Personal happiness.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, personal happiness is really fascinating, because the truth is, Ryan, the biggest thing that, if you're watching me, the one thing I'm scared of is, not everybody has to buy the New York Jets, right? Like, I'm trying to buy the Jets, and I mean it. So I am gonna like bleed out of my eyeballs for the rest of my life. But not everybody has to do that, so I think it's imperative that you figure out, you don't necessarily have to work more unless you want to achieve a lot more and want to be happier with the day, what you're doing day in and day out.
Damn. Yeah, I just realized I'm so passionate about Treehouse. I just get up earlier now. So I get up at 4:30 and just grind, and I love it. It's good.
That's awesome, man. Well, listen, keep doing your thing. Thanks for watching the show.
Love you, man.
And go listen to Logic's music if you haven't, because I feel like you haven't, and you need to immediately.
Will do.
You promise?
I promise. Right
Dude, promise Logic right now. He's literally here. You have to promise him.
I promise you, Logic.
I'm literally, Logic, I promise you, I'm driving home, I'm going to listen.
Spotify, right now, bro. Logic, it's not spelled ghetto.
Ryan, listen, seriously, you're going to think back to this moment in 3 years when Logic's literally one of the 5 biggest musicians in the world.
I can't wait.
All right, man, take care. Bye-bye. All right, you guys jamming on your thing?
What a nice guy.
Great guy. Oh, listen, that's the one thing. And I think, you know what? And I've looked at a lot of your fan base as I was starting to like really dig the last week. I think you and I have a very similar thing, which is a funny thing happens when you put good into the world.
Oh, dude, positivity is everything.
Like, our fans struggle to be negative because they know that we won't like that.
Yeah, that's so insane.
So that's the punchline.
I'll never understand that though. And here's one thing. So since my whole motto is peace, love, and positivity.
Peace, love, and positivity.
That's it. That's my whole motto. And some people like hate me. They're like war, hate, negativity. They'll say disgusting things, hurtful things. But that's just the internet. And I used to always wonder.
It's not just the internet. It's just people.
Yeah, it's just
and listen,
people.
if they're broken inside.
Oh yeah.
They're trying to drag people down with that.
And I used to wonder. I would ask myself. I would say, why do people hate? I don't understand it. I don't understand how. Why would somebody hate on me? Why would somebody hate? And then it clicked, and I said, I'll never understand because I'm not a hater. I don't have a hater mentality. I have a winner mentality, a lover's mentality. You know
I get it.
So it's just like, with law of attraction or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't use, a lot of people say, oh, I wish I could travel the world, or I wish I could do this with my life, but, and as soon as they say but, that's it, they destroyed it, it's over.
100%.
You just have to say, I'm gonna, I will, or before, or, you know what I mean?
And listen, but people front and peacock all the time.
Of course.
Like, you've got to put in the work.
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Like you've got talent and all this, but like, again, reverse engineering your track, like, you worked.
Worked hard, definitely.
And you're not gonna stop.
No, for sure.
And that's that.
Yep.
I worked like people, I remember when I started really blowing up and people would hit me up and say, Gary, I went to high school with you, you got so lucky, I'm so pumped for you. And I would reply, and I'd be like, yo bro, I'm not lucky. Remember when you went to the Jersey Shore?
Yeah,
I worked.
I was grinded.
I worked.
That's how I feel.
So like,
the same way.
Well, because you worked. Everybody who worked.
I feel like in many ways I missed out, and I don't want to use the word missed out, but I'm saying like, while other guys were like going to parties and enjoying themselves and doing all this other stuff, it's like I thought, man, that could be cool. I was never that person anyway, but I was like, man, if I had that ambition and want to go have fun, man, that could be so fun. But now I look back like I would rather be here any day of the week than that was my glory day and I'm working at gym.
I mean, you're married now and in a different place, but like if people understood the leverage that comes along with the success that and all the things that they think they want by taking shortcuts, they can get in spades.
Yeah, no, that's real. It's 100%.
Got one? Let's do it. Yeah, I mean,
This is Garrett Hedden with Liveful Media. Sorry I missed your call.
Oh.
Leave your name and phone.
Yep, that's it. The kid's gonna be devastated forever.
Yeah.
So as they're pulling up the next number,
that's how you know it's real.
what other interests do you have outside the music world?
Oh, I want to act. I want to act and I want to invest. But before I invest, I have a number in my mind that I want in my personal account after taxes, after everything, just sitting in my account.
And then you'll go on the offense.
Yeah, and then that way it's like, okay, if
you can afford to play and learn and learn.
Exactly.
Because you know you're going to lose some dollars,
Yep.
but you'll learn.
Yeah, it's all an education process. So it's like, totes my goats.
My goats.
Hello?
This is GaryVee, and you're in the Ask GaryVee show with Logic.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
So,
Very good, very chill. I like that. What's your name, man?
My name is Ryan.
Ryan, how are you?
I'm pretty stoked talking to you guys.
Awesome. What's your question?
I got a business-related question. I've been working since I was 18. Entrepreneur, been, ups and down, obviously, with the first 3 years. You lose money, you make money, it's all the up and down stuff. Then definitely to a point to where I'm trying to figure out to where, trying to get to an employee to get people under you. I'm just not sure where the right timing is. Obviously, trying to juggle 20 different things from graphic design, photography, production side to everything else, but trying to figure out when is the best time to ask for help or how to get the right help.
Can you afford an employee?
As of right now, I think we can. Definitely something we got to talk to the CPA and kind of figure out what's the best move. But that's probably a question I could definitely ask him to see what the budget would be.
Did you say CPA like you need to ask your accountant?
Yeah, to kind of run down numbers and everything. Cause he does all like the day-to-day work as far as we have the mint and as far as the financial stuff.
Yep.
But he kind of gives the final decision. Hey, this is how much you guys can get paid. This is how much you guys can do this. So on and so forth.
I mean, the second you can, are you trying to build a big business?
Yeah, I mean that's always that's definitely the goal, to build a big business and something that can really start running for itself. Not necessarily like, hey, we'll leave the business, but something to where we can create the infrastructure to really start running for itself and not just always trying to catch what the errors is. At the end of the day,
if you're trying to build something big, the second you can afford an employee is when you need an employee, and then because the reality is you can't do everything, right? And so if you're investing in your long term, invest in your long term. Like, you should spend no money on anything, you should buy no fancy stuff, and you should put the money back into the business, and then so you can build up the business, right? Too many people are talking out of both sides of their mouth. They want to build up a big business, but every time they make a couple bucks, a little bit of coin, they're buying some dump, like a new pair of Jordans.
That's real.
Yeah, that's something we've invested into more, like as far as more marketing, more step services and stuff like that. But
do you feel like you can't get to everything and like you really need that employee? Obviously you do. That's why you asked it, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be 100% honest, in my aspect of the business, I think we definitely do. I mean, every bit of help is where, when you try to do 10 different things to keep the business going.
let's break this down technically. If you're spending money that you guys are making, not on dumb, thank God, but on marketing to get more opportunities, you're better off not spending that money on more opportunities and putting it into employees so that you can then, when you have enough to spend on new marketing opportunities, take all that opportunity. If you're getting your sales ahead of your delivery or what you guys can handle, then you're gonna struggle.
Okay.
The other thing is, you brought up something very subtle, which is the right person. It's not about the right person when you hire them, it's about knowing when to fire them.
Gotcha. I think that is my biggest concern to when
everybody's so crippled, my man, everybody's so crippled by the hire. They think everybody's got ego around the hire. They're like, oh, I'm so good at this. I got a process. I've got good people skills. I think I got the best EQ of all time, and I've hired so many schlemiels, I can't even count them. Because everybody's their best PR'd version when you're trying to hire somebody. You know how it is, the cliche, hey, tell me one of your flaws. Oh, sometimes I work too hard.
Yeah, everyone always says the same things, but you have to get to the really nitty-gritty.
Just hire on that intuition, feel it, and then if it's not right 6 months later, 3 months later, or if you know 5 days, I've fired people 5 days in. It might take 3 or 4 months because I want to be fair, but I'm like, crap, I'm in trouble. I just know right away that something doesn't taste right. So don't be crippled by the hiring. Know to be good about the firing, and then you can hire. You should hire somebody, by the way, everything tells me you should hire somebody tomorrow.
You fired.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
All right, my man. Thanks for calling.
Perfect. And a quick thing for both of you guys, Logic. I mean, you're absolutely amazing. I actually do follow your music, and definitely keep it up. Very, very inspiring. And
Thank you,
Gary, you as well. Both of you guys are just amazing. And Gary, I would definitely be sending you over a DM to do some business for you guys for definitely some merchandise for you guys.
Thank you, my man. So wait, when you saw that we were both together, if you're fans, were you just like peanut butter and jelly?
I mean, pretty much. I mean, I follow your work as far as your podcast. Listen to it every single morning, and as far as Instagram Live, right when you clicked up, I thought, okay, then you actually see, because I've actually never watched you on the Instagram Live.
Got it.
So then, I put my number down a couple times. Hope for the best.
All right, my man. Take care of yourself.
Best of luck.
Thank you, Gary.
That's some gangster advice you just gave that dude. That's so gangster.
Logic, what about you as an entrepreneur as a kid? So you were very artistic, you're clearly artistic and thoughtful. Did you have a selling DNA where you like go and buy blow pops and try to sell them? Like, did you have that part?
I'm very ashamed to tell you a story that I've never told anyone in my life.
Here we go.
So where I came
Let me get
from,
codes.
Yeah, so like when I grew up, I created this like laminate thing, and it was like this whole thing. And I put it on this like gangsta looking box, and it was like this there was like this metal box, and me and my boy dressed up, and we went around, and I forget what the fund was called, but it was basically like the poor people of America. And we would knock on people's doors in the rich neighborhood and say, "Would you like to donate $5 or more?"
Right.
You always got to go bigger.
Right.
It's like, well, if even $1 works out,
right.
Like,
you had room to negotiate.
And and like, bro, I mean, we must have walked away with like a couple $100.
And what did you do with it?
I bought junk food. I was poor. I was the poor person of America. But yeah, no, that was.
I love it. So you had a little of that.
A little slight, a little something.
Little.
But that was like mischievous hustle.
Listen, I used to rip people's flowers out of their yards and then ring their doorbell and sell it right back to them.
That's hustle.
So everybody starts with a little bit of that when you're young and you don't know better.
Hello.
Hello, this is GaryVee and you're on the Ask GaryVee show with Logic.
Hey.
So what's your question and what's your name?
My name's Nathan, and my question is, like, what is your best advice for startup businesses? Because, like, I've been working on one for 3 years, and it's just still small. I don't know what to do.
Well, what kind of business do you have?
Well, I'm starting to do, like, branch out into social media, like YouTube and stuff like that. And I have a small team working on, like, well, okay, so I make beats for smaller rappers.
Okay, that's a good start.
Yeah.
So I got a good business idea. I'm gonna trick Logic into using one of your beats, and then you're gonna blow up, and everything's gonna be set.
Yeah, fam. So wait, is this more like? But is this more like a like you're trying to set up your personal brand via social media? Is that what you're asking? The best way to go about that?
Yeah.
So you're trying to become a big producer. You want to be Metro Boom, and you want to go in that route.
Yeah.
Logic?
My advice here is interaction with your peers, and through that, so say there's other producers. So there's a zillion producers out there, right? So find some of your favorites or some people that you would almost see as competitors and collaborate. If you work with somebody else, you guys are always trying to outdo each other, but it's such a friendly competition that their listeners on their YouTube and their Twitter are going to find out that you guys are working together, and then they're going to want to hear what you're doing with this guy or that guy, and then through that, then other rappers are going to start to hear what you guys are doing together or even individually, and then want to mess with you, and then that rapper might have, 2,000 followers or 5,000 followers, whatever the case may be. So to be quite honest, I think it's, especially in this day and age for personal branding, there's two things. There's one, you should, do little vlogs and talk about who you are and the things that you like and the things you enjoy. How do you produce? Is it FL Studio? Is it Ableton? Do you use an MPC? Do you like the keyboard? All these things. Do tutorials. How to make beats. How to this, how to that. You want people to tune in and go, I like this guy, so for everything I want, I'm going to come to him. Whether I want to buy a beat, whether I want to learn how to make a beat, or whatever the case may be, it should be all about you. You know what I mean? So I would say just have fun and connect with others that are even better than you, and learn why they're better than you, and take their secrets and kick it.
Nathan, where do you live?
I live in Kentucky.
And how old are you?
Shout out Bryson Tiller.
I'm 14.
So you've been doing it since you were 11.
I love this.
Yeah.
So listen, I mean, I assume you love Logic and all that. Like, have you ever seen any of my content? Do you know, like, my belief on patience at all? Do you know anything about this?
Yes, I've been watching you for like 2 years.
I love you for that. Thank you. So here, listen, it's very simple, man. I have a lot of good things going on in my life. I would trade to be you right now. If you're at a place where you're watching my Instagram Live, when you're talking to me and Logic, you're 14 years old, you've already put in 3 years worth of work, you're savvy enough to be paying attention to my content and listening to this kind of music, like you're in such a great spot. The biggest problem is when you're 14, it's hard to be patient, right? Like, it's just hard. But listen, you need to hone your craft. Like, you're still in the place, if you think about mine and Logic stories. At 14, there was no internet for me. There was for him a little bit, so it's a little bit different. But like, we were just still working on our craft. I was still at baseball card shows learning how to like set up tables, trade, how to negotiate. Logic, were you writing at this point? And
Yeah, I was totally writing. But one other thing that I do want you to also think about is like you being 14, it's like you're like, oh man, I just want to do it now. I just want to do it now. There's a lot of people who are like, no, I don't want to finish school, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. Like, first and foremost, remember that if you are blessed and you are in a position where you can go to school and get an education, you do not take that for granted, because it's something that I did take for granted. But one piece of advice I want to give you and everybody out there watching who's like, no, I just want to just get rid of everything else and just focus on this one thing, that's BS, man. Because when I was 17 years old, I left home and I worked 2 jobs at the same time while still working on my music. So no matter how hard it might feel or how angry it can be to just want to just do that one thing all the time, make sure you are balancing your life. It's very important.
So I'm a bigger fan of going all in. I'm not saying quit school at 14 and this and that, but I feel like you did go all in by having 2 side jobs that enabled you to survive in some way to focus on your music.
Oh, completely. But what I'm saying is that if you're a kid, don't drop out of school because you just want to focus on one thing unless there is no other option. For example, I didn't drop out. I was kicked out of school.
Or if the market told you so. If you're a 19-year-old and you're the best basketball player in the world and the NBA is ready to pay you,
come on, Doug.
you drop,
Yeah, you get
right?
that bread.
So Nathan, listen, I think more than anything, like if you're being very honest with me and Logic, are you good yet? Like, do you think you're great? Do you think you're like all time? Do you think you're like Lil Wayne at 14 and like actually that great already? Or do you think you just still have a long way to go?
I think I have a longer way to go, but I do think I do have some skill in FL Studio.
Okay, so I love that. So where are you with social? Have you been promoting? Are you storytelling? Are you vlogging? Do you have a vlog on YouTube? Like, which I think is just a great way to go about this.
I will start that. I'm planning on getting a camera soon. It's not going to be like a big one, but it's going to be like cheaper.
Do you have a phone?
I'll be able to, yeah.
Well, then you have a camera. You have a camera. Like, don't overthink the quality. Like, I want you to do the work. Like, you got to taste it. Like,
content.
Once you have the excuse that I don't have a camera yet, you're in excuse zone. Like, film a vlog tomorrow on you have an iPhone?
No.
A Samsung?
A good camera.
Great. I don't care what you have. Flip phone. Like, if you have a camera on your phone, film it and put it out tomorrow. Promise Logic that you're going to make a vlog tomorrow. Promise Logic.
I'm going to haunt you.
I promise that I'll make a vlog tomorrow.
Great.
I love it, Nathan. Nathan, listen, I'm Gary at VaynerMedia.com. I want you to email me in a month about how your vlog's going.
Okay.
All right, my man? Good luck to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. I love it.
Yo, what a little boss.
Isn't that great?
That was epic.
So, listen, to make this valuable for everybody, are you 26?
27, just turned 27.
Logic is twice that dude's age.
Yeah. Oh man, you're making me feel old.
And when I was 27 and looked at 41-year-olds, I was like, ooh, that's like a good size older. Yeah. And the way I feel right now, I feel like a baby. Patience. Like, if you want to be great at something, you've got to put in the work.
That's 100%.
Like, do you remember your first like song you ever made? Like for
I have it written. I have it in a box upstairs. I have the rap.
How is it?
It's horrible.
I mean, that's it. Like it's just
time.
It just takes time.
It takes time. But you gotta really want it though.
Yeah, because everybody's pushing against you.
Yeah.
It's all no's.
Yeah.
You start with all no's.
Yeah. And then you force the yes.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just start with all no's.
No. They start with no's, and then you get them to come to you.
Hey man, it's GaryVee, and you're in the Ask GaryVee show with Logic.
Swag.
Oh, what's up?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm awesome.
Yeah, you swagging?
Yeah, man. Logic, I love you, man. You're really inspirational as well.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
So what kind of question do you have? What can we answer for you?
I mean, no, I just feel like a lot of things that I'm trying to do, that everyone's against me on them.
Like everybody, like your mom?
Like your ideas?
Yeah, like parents and all of that. Like,
what are you up to? What's your name again?
You know, I mean, what I really love to do is lacrosse. Like, I've been playing lacrosse for 4 or 5 years, and there's nothing more I enjoy to do. But like, there's just nothing that I can really do to take me to the next level.
Let me ask you a question, real quick. Let me ask you one question. When you say there is nothing more that you love to do, when it comes to lacrosse, do you really mean that? Do you really mean that there is nothing more that you love, or could you ever see yourself? Because one, you should go for it. Go for it if that's what you want to do. But I always love to think long term as well, because you might want to play lacrosse, but what happens if
you become 41?
Yes. So it's like, would you still want to be involved? Would you still want to? I'm just being real. Like, age takes a toll on the body. So it's like, is playing lacrosse the only thing that's ever going to make you happy? Or are there other outcomes as well that surround lacrosse that you can go have a great career in lacrosse, but then also see the end result of like being a commentator or being a coach or
this
just being
exactly
involved?
Right.
What do you really want, you know, when you're 41 years old with a family?
I just want to be involved. Like, I enjoy the creativity, you know, all of that.
And so what's the story? Everybody in your family and friends say, well, there's not like, even Major League Lacrosse, it's not like a real lifestyle. Like, you can't become a lacrosse. Got it.
Like, I just don't enjoy school. Like, you know, I just like, I'm actually, like, I've been told I'm extremely smart, but I just don't enjoy school. So, like, I haven't been trying.
How old are you?
I'm 14.
Jeez, we're on fire with 14-year-olds. What's your name again, my man?
I'm Victor.
Victor, so listen, let me give you a really good piece of advice, and make sure your parents watch this video. You can always get a job.
So true.
Like you can do whatever they want and what you want very easily. You can go and play lacrosse in college. You can try out for Major League Lacrosse teams. You can either succeed or fail, but I got good news for you. When you're 27, which is a ridiculous young man, you can just go get a job.
That's true. You can go get a job, but you can never go back, bro. You can never go back to 21 years old and kind of, you know, take that leap of faith. So, like, just, you know, plan. You're so young, but, like, plan, but just do it, bro.
You're talking to two guys who created scenarios in their head and they lived it, and not everybody goes through that. So you gotta rationalize what's going on here, which is you've got two ridiculously optimistic people because they've seen some of what they've wanted to achieve through in a world where most people told them no, right? So, but here's where yours is practical. Like, you're 14, which is like 4 seconds ago, right? So you've gotta factor that in, how young you are, but you're gonna be able to do both. You're gonna be able to make your parents and your haters happy because you can run the course of school, and you're gonna be able to, like, right now, just be ridiculously great at lacrosse and get a scholarship and go play at Johns Hopkins or Syracuse or be big time. And you've got literally 8 years until you have to make a decision if you want to become a professional lacrosse player. Instead of dwelling on, oh, everybody doesn't think I can, go throw the lacrosse ball against a wall.
Totally.
Like, just get great.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like none of this is gonna play out if you don't get great. You're gonna lose to them if you don't get great. So, like, every minute you even think about it, turn that into thinking about how to become great and put in the work to become great. Let the chips fall. Listen, I'm 41. There was a lot of kids that were told stop playing video games and go get good grades and become a lawyer, and they're making $137,000 a year right now, miserable, hate their lives because they listen to their parents, yet they were actually great at video games and they became making $14 million a year as an esports star, but we didn't know 20 years ago that Twitch was coming.
That's so
Your parents don't know in 11 years from now that lacrosse is now a bigger niche sport because the Major League Lacrosse organization made a deal with Snapchat, became the first over-the-top sport on Snapchat, and every kid 11 and 19 became a lacrosse fan because they used Snapchat the way that WWF used, you know, pay-per-view, and it became a big thing. Do you understand, Victor?
Yeah.
So we don't know what the next decade looks like when you're gonna actually become, maybe Major League Lacrosse players make $4 million a year in 10 years. I don't think so, because a lot has to happen, but it doesn't matter what I think, and more importantly, if you make $83,000 a year, $50,000 a year, or be like an old school athlete. Do you know Major League Baseball players had jobs in the summer in the 50s and 60s? They loved being baseball players. These are Hall of Famers, Victor.
Happiness, man. It's just about happiness, bro. That's all that matters is your happiness. Other people are going to tell you what they think you should do or what they would do if they were you, but they're not you, bro. They're not you. So just be happy and do what you love. Stay passionate, you know, be smart and have fun and take risk.
And be a wuzzle. A wuzzle's a 1984 cartoon where two animals were in one animal. Be a wuzzle. Be a professional lacrosse player and a doctor. And Grandma Victor is thrilled.
Swag. I love how we're talking to 14-year-old kids today. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at lacrosse is growing, like, disgustingly fast. And, like, that's
dude, I'm 41. Lacrosse has been growing disgustingly fast since I was 14, so be careful, but it doesn't matter. Be happy and execute on your thing. Don't justify your dreams, execute on them. ooh.
Yo, put that
Yeah,
on
that
a
was
shirt.
that's actually what ooh was. All right, Victor, we gotta go, my man. We wish you well.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Thanks, Logic.
Peace. Thank you.
Gary.
All right, one more.
That's crucial.
Yeah, don't just like.
Yo, this is tight.
This is fun, right?
This is cool.
I'm gonna see like Ask Logic in a couple weeks on YouTube. I'm gonna be excited. You should do this, man.
Yeah, it's fun. That's
fun,
kinda
right?
cool. Yeah, this is dope. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a really good experience.
And it's a good way to scale interaction with fans.
I like this energy.
Do you think we should be like do you think we should start a morning show? Like me and you versus like Kelly and Michael? Like I guess
ABC or
they'd
something?
yeah.
Yeah, I know. That'd be great.
You said you wanted to do TV.
I'll wear the dress.
I'll wear it too. We'll both wear it. All right.
Here we go.
You know the person's name? Or you didn't catch it?
LaFonda.
LaFonda, you're on the Ask GaryVee show.
B.
What is it?
Delta bib.
All right, we'll get it. Relax over there, guys. Sticking phones in each other's pockets. Yo, this is GaryVee, and you're on the Ask GaryVee show with Logic. They got scared. They were like, you could hear us in the background. They got excited.
Yo.
All right, before we get into the last question, Logic, what else do you want everybody to know? What else is interesting? What's on your mind?
I don't know, man. I just think one thing about all of this and just kind of like sitting down here and talking today, it just shows me like, you know, you're very successful in your field. I'd like to think I'm very successful.
You are. You are.
And like, all that matters is that we're happy. I know that when I wake up every day, like literally, I only have one tattoo and it's happy wife, happy life. Like I'm happy with my wife. I'm happy with my friends. I'm happy with my career. And I don't know why I'm saying this, but I wasn't truly happy until I stopped looking for acceptance in others.
Don't justify your dream.
That's a real thing. I wasn't truly happy until I could say, I did it because it made me happy.
It's the best feeling,
whoever
man.
you are out there, do what you do for yourself, please.
They'll come to you if you do.
And buy my albums. No.
That will make you happy.
Hello?
This is GaryVee, and you're in the Ask GaryVee show with Logic.
Oh my God, are you for real?
I'm super for real, my man. What's your name and where are you from?
Holy crap! Oh my God. My name's Sebastian. I'm 15. I'm from South Carolina.
All right, Sebastian. South Carolina in the Final Four. Are you guys all freaking out there? Like, has South Carolina like shut down?
Yeah, man, totally. Gamecocks, they can take it all. So.
You feeling good about it? Did you now? Don't lie. What was your name again? I apologize. I'm getting excited.
Sebastian?
Sebastian, did you have them in your where did you have them in your bracket?
Well, I didn't make a bracket, but I'm just happy that they're in the Final Four. So.
You didn't make a bracket, that upsets me. All right, what's your question?
All right. So basically, like, I'm stuck between, like, I just want to do like YouTube and just film my life, or like starting a business. If you think I should collab with them, or stick to one, or
First of all, bro, I'm going to interrupt you and tell you right now that you filming yourself and doing vlogs is a business, bro. So that's knocking two birds with one stone right there.
If you're interesting,
Yeah.
Sebastian, if you're boring, nobody's gonna watch and you're not gonna make any money.
Okay.
And you need to understand this. This is the one thing that everybody has to understand, because this is a phenomenon. I wrote a book when you were like 0, when you were like 7 years old. It was called Crush It, and I talked about the emergence of YouTube, this thing, and it's so fun for me to now see this in real life. Like 15-year-olds are like, yo, I want to do YouTube. Like, that's insane to me. Like, that makes me so happy that I was right, I guess. And so but here's the problem. All of you want to do YouTube. All of South Carolina 15-year-olds want to do YouTube. All of North Carolina 15-year-olds want to do YouTube. Everybody wants to do YouTube. Everybody wants to be a rapper. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to be in the NBA. What you need to figure out is not only what you want, but are you good enough to be able to pull it off?
That's crucial.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you understand where I'm coming from, Sebastian? But well, I'll tell you this. You won't know unless you start.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, do it.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Like, you know, like you just won't know unless you start doing. If you're great, charismatic, funny, interesting, like by the way, right now is the time to start. Everybody's paying attention to South Carolina. You're in the Final Four. Document the next 3 days. Go into like, you know, Wendy's and see what people are talking about. Like, go and do.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hey,
I will.
what's the last thing you ate?
What's the last thing I hate?
Yeah.
Hate,
Yeah.
not hate. Don't hate anything.
Oh,
Hate taxes.
cereal.
Nice.
Which one?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a
let's
good
go.
one. What's your
Nice.
favorite cereal?
Captain Crunch.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. The captain. Sebastian,
Yes, sir.
I don't feel like I'm leaving this call with you actually doing a vlog tomorrow.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Like, I have one video on my YouTube, and I'm currently focused on Instagram. Like, I have videos on my Instagram, so.
What's your Instagram account?
My Instagram is I am, and then my name, Sebastian Bettinker.
How do you spell your last name?
Bettankur. Check me out for some funny videos.
Hold on. I'm gonna pull this up right now because I've got great news. So you know who Logic is, right?
Yeah.
Logic's gonna follow you on Instagram.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know. Can you believe it? He's the best.
Dude, this is the best day of my life. Oh my God.
Okay, I'm Sebastian.
Bettankur.
Dude, Logic, you're such a good dude for following this, dude.
Where is it?
Okay, hold on. I'm Sebastian. But I don't have the last name
Hold
down
on,
yet.
wait. Spell Sebastian just so we don't screw it up. Yo.
Yo, Sebastian. Not yet, bro.
Spell your
Sebastian.
First, yeah.
Alright, it's I am, and then.
Oh, I am. Hold on. Hold on. I am Sebastian. I found you, bro.
Oh my God, this is insane, Gary.
Yeah, Sebastian. I mean, like, wait
Yo,
till
Sebastian, you got 2,500 followers, bro.
you're about to have you have 2,438 followers, and your 2,439th follower is Logic. Sebastian, do you understand, bro? Do you understand that, like, in a couple of minutes you're gonna be able to text friends and be like, "Yo, Logic follows me on Instagram."
Yeah, dude, oh my, this is, Logic, just please don't ever unfollow me. I look up to you so much.
I am. I did the same thing.
Well, I am.
No, you put
I am.
Yeah, gotta put I am.
Oh,
Fix
I
it,
thought
fix
it was
it.
like, I
Logic,
am.
while you were trying to find him, did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
He said, "Don't unfollow me, bro."
Oh, I'm gonna unfollow you as soon as this interview's over.
Yeah, dude.
Gary, I want to thank you so much for calling me. Like, I love all your videos so much. And honestly, like, you're just a motivational person, man.
I appreciate it, bro. Listen, I have good news. I'm a better dude than Logic. I just followed you, and I'm not gonna unfollow you.
Oh
I'm not gonna unfollow you. I'm not gonna unfollow you, bro.
Dude, look at your following. Like, you're looking right now. Boom, there's Logic, dude. Me and Logic and D-Rock just followed you, bro. D-Rock followed you.
Oh my God, this is so crazy. Like, I just got 30 followers. Just thank you so much, man.
Now, Sebastian, here's the key. Who's the first person you're about to text as soon as you and I get off this phone?
You know, I think my dad.
Your dad?
Yeah.
That's
I
beautiful,
think
man.
my dad.
I love it.
Yo, this kid's adorable. Yo, can I have your hair?
Yeah, bro, your hair is legit.
It's legit.
Thank you so much, man.
Yo, you can braid that.
Dude, you got some nice photos.
Thanks, man.
Bryson Cooker, I like it, man. You're doing your thing.
You got it.
Thank
Hey,
you
listen,
so much.
listen. Put out more content. I see what you're doing. I like it. Now, you got to put more hashtags in your posts. You got like 6 or 7 or 8. You need more.
Yeah, hashtag it.
Okay.
And the other thing is, who do you think? Your Logic? You need to reply to every single person
Ever.
that's leaving a comment and giving you love, because it makes no sense.
Yeah, I understand.
Dude, you know what else is crazy? Are you paying attention to what's going on? Your latest picture has like all sorts of people commenting that they're watching you right now.
I just liked your last one too, dog. Your last.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like the one that you said girls are weird, and I'm gonna like it.
Okay.
Girls are weird.
All right, brother. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Like, that's amazing. I love you guys.
I love
out,
you more,
love you, dude.
Sebastian. Can I get
Alright.
a I love you, Sebastian shirt? Can we get that done? All right. I'm being dead serious. I'm wearing a I love you, Sebastian shirt, and then like a Logic fan's gonna roll up at me like wearing it. Guarantee it. All right, we're done with that. Logic,
Yes.
you're a good dude.
You're a good dude.
I love you.
We're good dudes.
Now, question of the day. You get to ask everybody the question of the day. There'll be thousands of comments in Facebook and YouTube to this question. What's the question you want to put out to the 13, 14, 15-year-olds and everybody else in the world? What would you like to see them answer? Might be a good opportunity for you to get a little bit of a feedback loop.
Yeah,
you might be able to get some insight on something
This is
from the
really-
masses.
Man, I didn't know that you
I know,
were gonna ask
that's
me
why I
this.
rolled you up. And notice how I didn't give you that heads up beforehand.
Yeah.
Because this awkward pause right now is everything to me. I'm gonna rewind and watch this part. This is gonna be an amazing question. I'm predicting the greatest question asked by a guest in the history of the Ask GaryVee show.
Why do you think
Oh, this is gonna be good, actually.
Jesus, okay, and Gandhi, and Martin Luther King, and JFK, and John Lennon, so many more amazing people who only spreaded love and peace and happiness and that message were killed for their cause? I want to know why you think that. I'm just curious. I have my reason of why I think, but I don't know. I just feel like why so many incredible, amazing figures that were just loving and happy met
that fate.
That fate.
Continued success, man.
Thank you.
You've got a real
too.
talent and
Appreciate
a great vibe, man. I enjoyed this so much. You keep asking questions, we'll keep answering them.
GaryVee. Here, right now. Feel my energy. It's right here. What do you have to say? What are you saying? What's going on? Let's do this. Let's go!